Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new game that just got introduced not too long ago. Um, it's a Star Trek game called Voyager: Across the Unknown, and it is listed as a survival strategy game. So I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and I've played many of the games, watched all of the series, read many of the books. So this found this to be very intriguing. Now, I've already played through this because they just voraciously wanted to see it before I could get a chance to stream it. But I thought I would share it with everybody in case anybody had any interest or curiosity in it. It's not the typical Star Trek game that I've played before. I played some of the online versions and different ones where it's a lot more about ship to ship combat and stuff like this. This one reminds me a little more of like XCOM or Fallout Shelter, where it's kind of story driven. Like you get to pick your own story, and there's like little activities you can do where you're fixing the ship and stuff. And we'll show you all the graphics and what have you when we get started here. So let's go ahead and start a new game. Stardate 48315.6. New ship, new crew, new mission. Today we embark on a mission to locate the Maquis vessel that has disappeared in the Badlands. Starfleet intelligence believes these terrorists have acquired dangerous new technology. My chief of security, Tuvok, is undercover aboard the ship. Haven't received communication from him in over a week. Badlands are treacherous. I can only hope he's safe. In the meantime, I have a starship to prepare for launch and a crew to assemble. Speaking of which, the final two crew members have just arrived. Ensign Harry Kim and Tom. Seems they have a few introductions to make. There's a lot of reading in this. I don't know if they're ever going to get to a point where there's any narration in this. This first demo kind of follows the pilot, which is kind of cool. So if you're real familiar with the show, it kind of follows that very first episode pretty closely, but it gives you some different choices to make it more fluid and stuff. And I will apologize now ahead of time that I'm going to try to read this the best I can. So, gentlemen, welcome to Voyager. So down here, we have continue, and we can skip, but we won't skip anything, so we're going to continue. Ensign Kim, you're fresh from the academy. Ready for your first deep space assignment? Reporting for duty, Captain. It's an honor to be here. I hope to live up to your expectations. Ensign Kim, I trust you already met Tom Paris, our esteemed observer, a former Maquis pilot who will help us search in the Badlands for the Maquis vessel. With all due respect, man, observer is hardly the title befitting my talents. I'm the best damn pilot in the sector. Call me pilot extraordinaire, Ensign. The Maquis, wow. I've heard a lot of stories about them. Relax. I was at the Maquis only a few weeks before I was captured and sent to my lovely little penal colony on New Zealand. Prison? Enough chatter, gentlemen. All hands, this is the captain. Report to your stations. Helm, take us into the Badlands, maximum warp. Into the Badlands. The Badlands is a treacherous region of space where violent plasma storms can cripple even the most advanced starship. Captain Janeway observes a swirling chaos from the view screen. A subtle smile plays on her lips. She's ready for the challenge. Scanners are picking up no other vessels in the system, Captain. It's your time to shine, Mr. Paris. Any idea where your former colleagues are hiding? It wasn't exactly a Maquis of the Year, Captain, but they did prefer underground bases, remote planets, and Captain, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm reading a coherent Tetrion beam scanning us, and a displacement wave is heading towards us. Hello, Toasty. Incoming. Colossal wave of turbulent energy surges towards Voyager. Its power dwarfs anything the crew has ever seen. With no time to analyze the threat, emergency measures are initiated. Red alert. Helm evasive moves. No effect. The wave will intercept us in 5 seconds. Brace for impact. How am I doing? I'm doing really good, Toasty. I'm hanging in there. Every day's a struggle. Just trying to keep busy, I think, more than anything. The aftermath. As the crew regains consciousness, they find the bridge is totally devastated. Twisted metal, sparking consoles, injured crewmen paint a grim picture. What just happened? Damage report. Major hull and deck damage. Transporters are offline. We're receiving casualty reports. Bridge to sickbay. Doctor, we've got injured crew on the bridge. Doctor? Damn. Captain, we're losing systems across multiple decks. Deuterium tanks are empty. Warp core's gone. We're in gray mode. We're on reserves. Barely. Mr. Paris, take the helm. Scan the nearest source of deuterium. External sensors are offline. Stellar cartography must be down. Voyager's blind, Captain. Janeway to engineering. We need stellar cartography back online now. Okay, so this is where it kind of turns into like XCOM or Fallout Shelter kind of deal, where we basically have a side view of the ship. So we can pull out, and we have like the old diagrams like from the show of the entire ship's layout. And all the turbo decks, all the decks that are damaged. I kind of love the level of detail that they have in this. As you can move up and down, it kind of changes the aspect of the picture. So it's a very neat representation of the ship itself and all the decks. So essentially what we need to do is we need to repair stellar cartography. Which is going to be this. So what we're going to do is click on that, and it's going to tell us we can switch it on. It's going to cost us 3 power and 2 people. Our power node's here. We're in gray mode, so we don't have a lot of power to work with. So we're going to switch that on. Captain sensors are picking up something out there, but what, Harry? I'm trying to stammer. What's excuse me. What, Harry? I'm trying to stammer. It's not in the Badlands anymore. What is that thing? Where are we? If our sensors are working, we just jumped over 70,000 light years. We are in the Delta Quadrant. The Delta Quadrant? How? Captain, life support systems are failing. This array will have to wait. Mr. Paris, take the helm. Find us some deuterium sources. Okay, so this is going to explain how we go through the systems and we can find the supplies we need to rebuild the ship and increase our power and what have you. So this is the system that we're in, and basically every planet or anything with a question mark we can scan. This has got duranium on it. More duranium. Duranium. Now we can get deuterium, Captain. So now we're going to navigate over there. Points of interest. Okay, so this is basically what we're trying to do here. This is our, what I want to call it. This is kind of our mission status, what we need to get done. This is basically a breakdown of all the things that are going on with the ship. So we have the the gel neural packs here. We have science. We have deuterium, which is empty. Duranium. Tritanium. We have food sources. So essentially we have to fly over here for 5 cycles. So now something else we can do is go back to the ship here and see if we can't get things turned back on. So with the damage on these decks here, we can start sending engineering crews in here to repair some of this damage. So this costs 6, so we can't turn that on back until we get enough power. So let's see what's over here. That's more duranium. Okay. And here. All right, so we can get 2 sources of deuterium over here. So we're going to lock on and fly over to that space. Okay, abandoned vessel. Captain, we've found an abandoned ship adrift in space. It's powered down but structurally sound with sealed storage compartments. Okay, so we have 2 choices. This one's locked right now because we don't have a torpedo bay. But later on, once we get things repaired, we'll be able to make these choices. So right now, we're just going to take the easy route and try to get what we need. Now, what's doing right there is basically that's a random generator. So you'll have different levels of chance. Green is good. Yellow is iffy. Gets into orange and red. Okay, so now we have enough deuterium to start. Captain, we can now deactivate gray mode. Okay. Captain, we're ready to increase the warp core output. So now we have enough materials that we can get the warp core back online, and this will help us power parts of the ship. So we click on the question mark, and our energy levels are returning to normal, Captain. Good. Now, what about this thing, this array? I can't tell you, Captain, but our scanners detected a Maquis Vestal next to it. So we can try to hail them, or we can scan for life signs. So we're going to go ahead and scan for life signs. Scan the ship for life signs, Ensign. There's no one aboard, Captain. Okay, so now we can scan the array. What about the array? Is this like a text adventure game? So far in the demo it is. I don't know if they're going to add any voiceover. It's a lot of reading at the moment. Being a huge Star Trek fan, I don't mind. I've seen this episode so many times, and I've read so many of the books and all that. So for me, the geeky part of it's fun. I can see where maybe they get to a point where there is dialogue, because when you go into the options, there's volume meters for dialogue and everything. So I have a feeling that as they get the game more developed, we probably will hear some kind of voiceovers. Whether they get the actual actors or not involved would be, I don't know. It might be too expensive for them, but even just to have one or two of them voice some of the stuff would be interesting. I know they do that a lot in the audiobooks. They'll have one or two of the characters read their lines. But it's kind of a text-based adventure. It's got that XCOM feel with the repair of the ship, and um it's kind of like a choose your own story kind of thing, so it's all going on that. No, this is a demo that hasn't come out yet. Hi, Rhino. Welcome in. Doing something a little different. I'm a big Star Trek nut, and this demo came out, and I played it, and I was really intrigued with it. So I thought I'd share it with everybody. Toasty, I'd love to give a game like this a try, but maybe not in space setting. Yeah, like I said, I'm a huge Star Trek geek. I love all this stuff. I mean, I used to go to conventions. I've read like every novel, especially Voyager. Huge Voyager fan. So this is like just geeky out for me. Is one of them Vulcan? Not sure, Captain. Signals are weak. We'll just have to see for ourselves. I want a transporter room repaired and ready. Mr. Paris, get us the duranium I'm going to get all kinds of tongue-tied here. Get the duranium posits we need to repair the transport rooms. Rhino, yeah, Next Generation fan. Yeah, I'm of the age when all that came out, because you figure Next Generation came out around '87, and then then Deep Space Nine, and then Voyager, and so I'm in that age group where I watched all of that. I saw the original series in rerun, and of course got hooked on the movies and stuff like that. But yeah, kind of that golden era for Star Trek. Yeah, I'd have to agree. The new Picard was interesting. I'm a sort of fan of Strange New Worlds. Um, Hit or miss on some of the other ones. It's one of those things. Sometimes it's not good until you get into the second and third season. Sometimes you have to wait. Okay, so what's our maximum? We can hold 1,000. So I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna get some more. Of the deuterium. This is where the techno psycho babble starts to come in, all this technical terms. Okay, and now we'll go get some duranium. Okay, now we have the duranium we need, and so now we can fix the transporters. Okay, so now we click on that, and this will tell us how many engineers it needs and how much of the duranium we need to use to repair it. So start the repair process. Transporters are back online, Cap. Mr. Paris, set a course for the array. It's time we get some answers. Okay, so where we're headed is here. So what I'm going to do is on the way, I'm going to go ahead and grab some more of this duranium here. Seems to run on some form of electricity, Captain. Oh, so we only got a little bit of it, so we were in the yellow. So like I said, this is kind of like a randomizer. So it doesn't always give you the maximum amount, so it kind of plays with the numbers you get. Ensign Kim, Mr. Paris, get ready for your first away mission. So now we're going to go into the transporter room. And so here's where we get to pick the crew that are going to be on the away missions. So right now we only have 2 crew members, but you can match the away mission by their specialty as time goes on. And here we go. Captain, we seem to have materialized in the middle of a cornfield. This place, it's eerily similar to Earth, but something is off. Any suggestions on what to do next? So now, this is where you kind of get to do the pick and choose what's going to be your most successful way to go about it. So you can base the level of their skill to the amount of what they can do for each deal. So we can look for footprints or special noises, and Tom Paris is 25 of that. Or we can do Harry Kim, or we can do, he's got a 29. So we're in the yellow for that. If we go to here, it changes. So we've got a little better luck of doing this with Harry. So we're going to confirm this. And we failed. Tricutters offer no helpful readings. Harry and Tom wander aimlessly through the cornfields, increasingly lost and disoriented. Just as they are about to give up hope, they stumble upon a farm with people working in the fields. An old man sits on the porch nearby the farmhouse, strumming a banjo. His head's on backwards. I'm not sure I follow, Rhino. Okay, so this describes the fatigue factor. So every time one of your wave teams does an action, they become fatigued. So you got to be kind of careful about where you use them and how you use them. So Harry is fatigued at this point. Space All's quote. Oh, okay. I don't know if I know that quote. Okay, so we really don't want to use Harry again. So now what we're going to use is we're going to use Tom to try to do that. So we can either demand to know what's going on, try to read his body language for any clues, or we can use Harry again, but it's going to make him more fatigued. And as you can see, it'll drain him even further down. Oh, good Lord. You know, it's been so long since I've seen Spaceballs, and my son is so excited about the sequel that they're doing. I have not seen that in so long. No worries, Rhino. No worries at all. It's funny because I was just talking to him the other day about that, because he was talking about the sequel for Spaceballs coming out, and I was laughing about, you know, they waited long enough, being such an old movie. All right, let's let Tom be demanding. See what we get. Oh, you know what? This is going to be better. All right, let's see if we can finagle his way through this. All right, we had success. Harry and Tom discreetly observe the old man, trying to analyze his body language. Something feels off, like he's putting on an act, but he can't quite put his finger on why. The old man seems perplexed by their presence, muttering about Harry and Tom being early and how it is not their turn yet. He invites them to stay to the farm and wait, offering them some fresh corn cobs. Yeah, I'll be more excited if it would be better if it was already written or read. If they had, you know, if they could get some of the cast members to do the narration, or just if they narrated some of this, because it is a lot to read. But I was very intrigued with the way they balance the gameplay It's like I said, it's kind of got an XCOM feel to it a little bit. Not so much that it's where you can strategize where everybody goes, but it's kind of more on a like a dice roll type deal. And then I kind of like the repair of the ship and stuff. It's kind of like the XCOM base or like Fallout Shelter or something along that lines. This is more of the tutorial on how the away missions work. Okay, the old man wasn't much help. We'll try to find the Maquis ourselves. Large barn behind the farmhouse. Tricorder readings are off the charts. There's definitely something strange about it, especially that back wall. So now basically what they're saying is you can now combine the two of them with the specialty to try to figure out what's going on. So this is going to give us a 50-50 chance. This is probably 75%. And then if we do this, not only do we have a 100% chance of green, but now we have a chance of getting a critical here. So we'll go ahead and use these both, even though Tom's fatigued. Success. Harry and Tom try to disrupt the energy field, causing a flicker in the air, but before they can break the illusion, the people from the field burst in, wielding farm tools as weapons. The old man appears and reveals the barn as is an illusion. The back wall dissolves, showing a blushing, glowing room where unconscious people, including a tattooed man and a half Klingon woman, lie on surgical tables. These people must be the missing Maquis. They're being held here, Captain. We must get them out. So they're both fatigued, but we got to figure out which one's going to be our best. So it looks like Harry's going to give us the best chance here. Harry sprints towards the half Klingon woman, hoping to arouse her. As he reaches out, the old man stops him, a look of concern in his face. Before Harry can react, a blinding white light fills the room and everything goes blank. Now they got experience for that, leveled up. We also got some science points and some deuterium. A sudden return. Captain Janeway anxiously awaits the return of her away team when Ensign Kim unexpectedly materializes behind her. What happened on the array? Whoa, I'm back on Voyager. What happened over there, Mr. Kim? We lost contact with you for several hours. Hours? We were just there, right, Tom? Tom? Seems like he's still on the array. I hope you have a hidden piloting tactic, because we're short. Captain, we're being hailed by the Maquis. Starfleet, I don't know what you did with our commander, but we still rammed this wreck into our precious starship. Ram us? One of our own is missing. It would make sense to postpone ramming us until we've accounted for all. Does that sound reasonable? We're beaming over. So see, now the story is already changing, because in the pilot, it was Kim and B'Elanna that were kept behind. So because it's a more pick your story thing, they're changing the history here. Face to face. Despite Janeway's invitation, the arrival of the Maquis crew fought with tension. Both sides remain wary and prepared to discuss their shared predicament. Don't play games, Starfleet. We're armed and ready to defend ourselves. I wouldn't have it any other way. Glad to have you back, Tuvok. Likewise, Captain. Miss Torres, I must inform you that I was on assignment to infiltrate the Maquis. I never liked you, Vulcan. That is unsurprising. I'm sure your performance by the Maquis duties are the highest standard. Good Klingon swear word. You win some, you lose some. Let's focus on bringing Paris and your commander back. His name is Chakotay. We can't get back. And we can't get back in that easy. They're sealed, and their communicators are cut off. Lieutenant Tuvok, get down to engineering and find a way to bypass whatever's jamming our communications. Report back as soon as you have a solution. Okay, Captain, the ship's status remains critical. Repair protocols are imperative. We require resources and engineering office to mobilize additional workforces. Prioritizing life support, secured core decks, and restore Deck 5 functionality. First, to gain access to the engineering office. And then it shows us how to re-establish life support and do all the items here. So now, if you hadn't seen it earlier, this is basically the breakdown of the ship. And she's in bad shape. Every corridor, every deck is in pretty rough shape. So the whole point of this now is to restore power on Deck 5 and get life support going so that we can start clearing these decks. So this is going to cost us 18 power. We have 100 in reserve. And so now we've restored life support on Deck 5. An engineering office is accessible. And of course it's a mess. We'll have to fix it before we can even use it. Yeah, the thing that really caught my eye, Rhino, is when you get in close on some of these decks, is they're not just like 2D. They actually, if you move up and down, you can actually see there's a little bit of a 3D-ness to them. They actually move around a little bit, so you can actually see some detail. Kind of like with this here. You go down, you see more of the floor. If you go up, you see more of the ceiling. So they did a nice job. It's got some nice artwork in it. Okay, so we need to repair the engineering office. So this is going to cost us 13 of our geranium. It's going to take 2 cycles and 1 engineering team. And so now we start our process of repairs. Until completion, it would be logical to scan all planets in the system and gather more deuterium and duranium. So now we can pull out into the system, which we can turn and move. So we'll scan the rest of the system for the things we need. But also paying attention to how far away they are. So like this is 7 cycles away. So we have to be careful, you know, to kind of match what we're doing to what we're trying to fix. So simple that it makes it neat. They know how with the fence. Yeah, exactly. I think it's really nicely laid out. To me it's going to be an interesting game as it goes forward, because there's a lot more just like getting into the strategy of it and more story driven, less, you know, like I know I like played Star Trek Online. A lot of that was based on, you know, building up your ships and being able to fight and stuff like that, and it was fun to play for a little while, but it got a little weird. Now, the other thing we have to be careful too is we've only got limited space. So, like with the deuterium, we can only carry 1,000 units, so it doesn't make us any sense to gather up too much in the way of the resources. But with this one, we can carry 100, and we're going to be burning through it as we do more repairs. So this is 4 cycles. This is 4. I'm going to go this way because we're going to burn some deuterium as we go. Okay, so now we've finished our repairs. We're going to go back to the engine side view, and this is also going to open up. Engineering office is fully operational again, Captain. We now have additional work teams to carry out 2 tasks simultaneously. So now we have 2 engineering crews, and we can now double our efforts. Logically, we should focus on Deck 2 and the mess hall to ensure the crew has food supply, maintaining their physical endurance. This requires reactivating the life support on this deck. So we'll follow Tuvok's. So now this is yet another thing about keeping morale up. So we will reestablish. However, the mess hall has sustained extensive damage. Emergency rations are currently deployed. After repair, the crew can access replicator rations again. So now we're going to repair the mess hall. This is going to cost us 6 of the duranium and 1 repair crew. And it's going to take 3 cycles. So now in the same breath, now because we have... Until completion, we should address crew accommodations. Ruined rooms must be cleared and create for residential sections. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and clear a deck of debris. This is going to give us 10 uranium back. And while we're waiting for the work teams, we should continue to collect more resources, which is what we're doing. You're going to hop off the line. You're be oh, cool. By all means, yeah, go rest. Painting all day is no fun. But thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun on the podcast. Look forward to seeing you. Okay, so we don't have the torpedo bay yet, so we don't have this as an option, but we'll go ahead and do this and see what we get. And we were successful, and we got 43. So now we have 64 out of 100, so we can do some more repairs. Plus, we're going to get some more. We still have a lot of... Is this deuterium? I think this is where the science stuff... Deuterium. So we need some more duranium. So let's go back this way. This is going to help us cycle through what we're doing. Okay, so now the mess hall is ready to go. Mess hall repairs are complete. We should switch to replicator rations now. Would enhance the crew's well-being. Okay, so now the mess hall is up and running. And now we're going to clear the debris here in this section, and we're going to continue to keep on deck 5 and deck 2. Go back to the system. You're done with that. Now that is empty. The ruined room is removal is concluded. That's a tough one. Maybe we should build some crew quarters now. It'd be wonderful morale for the captain. Okay, so now we're going to build crew quarters. So now we had a little hammer here that we can actually build things. So these are different things that we can build. We can do maintenance, create a cargo bay, larger cargo bay, battery compartment, crew accommodations. And I'm assuming as we go on, we'll be able to do more and more of these as we get the real game and as you unlock technologies. But right now we're doing emergency quarters. And it takes up 2 spaces, so we're going to take these 2 here. Okay. Now we're getting a hail. Okay, Captain. The array's jamming signal has been neutralized. We should be able to establish communications. Let's hope they respond. Hail the array. Who is this? Why are you bothering me? Oh, it's you. Why are you back? You don't have what I need. I remember that voice, Captain. The odd old man with the banjo. But his form is entirely different from compared to what it was when he appeared on the array. I'm Captain Janeway of the Federation starship Voyager. We mean you no harm. We just want our people back. Your people? Your people are no longer here. They might have what I need, but you'll just have to leave them. Okay, so now this is where it gets into the story of us changing how we're going to play through this. So we can appeal to his humanity, which is going to give us a 40% chance plus 30, so about 70. This is going to be a 60% chance. You can scan the array for Tom and Chakotay. This is just an optional thing, but we can go ahead and do this, and maybe this will give us some better answers. So we won't rely on your words, stranger. Scan the array for life signs of Tom and Chakotay. No sign of them, Captain. And no human life forms indicated at all. Who or whatever you are talking to right now. Okay, so now we'll take our best chance here and we'll appeal to him. We are entrusted with their safety. Their families, their friends rely on us to bring them home. They're our responsibility. I understand, but I had no choice. There just isn't enough time. Time for what? I must honor a debt that can never be repaid. Find something that cannot be found. So we can ask him what kind of debt or offer help. So we'll ask him what kind of debt. What kind of debt? Maybe we can help. Weren't you listening? It can't be repaid. All I can do is protect them. No. You're stealing my time. Don't you understand? I don't have time. Not enough time. We've been cut off, Captain. Damn it. We haven't gotten any closer to Tom or Chakotay. You managed to get something. You Starfleet don't know how to fight. But you're sure good at talking. Captain, if I may. I've observed that the array has been sending energy pulses towards the 5th planet of the neighboring system ever since our arrival. Given the lack of information regarding our mission of a crew's location, investigating this planet appears to be the most logical next step. It's the only lead we have. Thoughts, Miss Torres? I don't like this any more than you, but it's easier if we work together, Captain. Helm set a course for the 5th planet of the neighboring system. Let's find our people. Set a course for the 5th planet in the neighboring system, maximum warp. Okay, so now this will take us to another section here. We're in the sector. So right now we're at the system level, which we'll go ahead and finish this. Because we were still moving. Okay, so now we almost have a maximum amount of duranium, and we're still pretty good on our deuterium. So now we have another section here. So instead of, we had the ship, which gives us a ship view of everything we're doing. We're almost done with getting the crew quarters started and removing debris on deck 5. Let you guys take a look there. So we have the system view, which is, this is the system that we're in. You can turn it in 3D space down on the system. And now we have the sector we're in, which is going to give us multiple star systems within this sector. So this is where the game is asking us to head to. It's 3 cycles away. Okay, so emergency quarters are ready there. And we'll put this engineering crew to work repairing this section. And then we'll go back to the sector. The next section is ready. Now we'll do another crew quarters. We have 50 crew, so we need 50 emergency crew quarters. Each one does 10. Okay, so that's being built. We're clearing and go back to the sector view. Now we're in the system. This is the planet that we're headed to, which is the Ocampa. And now basically you can scan anything with a question mark. We can scan to see what kind of supplies that are available to us. How much deuterium do we have? We'll get deuterium here and then go to here. So we'll go talk to Talaxian freighter. All right. Okay, sick bay is now ready. We'll go ahead and clear this room, because we're going to need more crew quarters. Go back to the system view. All right. Emergency quarters are ready to move in, and now we've got 20 of the 50 people in crew quarters. And we'll go ahead and start clearing out the next section, keeping everybody busy. Okay, so we can only hold 1,000 deuterium, so this should just about top us off here. So we got all 413. So now we're pretty close, and then we will head to Ocampa. Captain, we've reached our destination. Okay, so again, because it's a story-based kind of thing, we can return later or we can continue. So we will continue. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so now we're moving into the next chapter. New lead. Following the caretaker's energy impulses, Voyager discovers a desert planet with the harsh, unforgiving landscape. Are Tom Paris and Captain Chakotay perhaps being held in this place? What makes this place so special? So we can prepare the away team, or we can kind of chit chat. So we can check the energy impulses, or we can scan the planet. So let's scan the planet. Let's see what we can learn about this planet. It has all the basic characteristics of an M-class planet, but no oceans, no rivers, nothing. However, there are settlements. Strange, but intriguing. Anything noteworthy about the energy impulses? They are consistently targeting a single location of barren piece of desert. I recommend an away team investigate the area. There is something else. Intervals between each pulse has decreased by 0.47 seconds since we left the array. They're getting faster. The entity said it was running out of time, right? Whatever that means, we'd better hurry. So I'm going to prepare our away team. We'll examine this world firsthand. Captain, a small ship is approaching. They're hailing us. On screen. Ah, Neelix. First contact. Peculiar alien with a mischievous grin greets Voyager from the chaotic vessel. Neither Starfleet nor the Maquis have ever seen such a species before. Perhaps an inhabitant of the Delta Quadrant. Greetings. Looking for something on this dusty old rock. Would we find anything, mister? Neelix. Never seen a ship like yours. Let me guess. You were whisked away from somewhere else in the galaxy and brought here against your will. Sounds as though you've heard this story before. Thousands of times. Well, hundreds of times. Maybe 50 times. But the caretaker's been bringing ships here for months now. The caretaker? That's what the Ocampa call him. He's probably snapped some of your crew, right? They're likely down on the planet with the Ocampa. But Captain, it's a tricky place. Dangerous. You could use a guide, but of course, a guide needs a little, compensation. Sound fair? Wonderful. To be honest, I've had it rough recently. Those pesky void voles have been nibbling away at my supplies. Some food and water would be most welcome. If you help us find a missing crew, you can have all the food and water you want. It's a deal. So this is our current mission right here. Rebuild Voyager and explore the system. Skip cycles until Neelix is ready to talk. So we've got Neelix with us. Now, if you're watching this and you're like, that's not how this went, and you're right. This isn't how this went. Actually, in the pilot, it was actually Harry Kim and Milana Torres who were captured and sent over. But because this is a story-based deal, we can change the story a little bit. So it's going to be interesting how this game develops as we go further when they get past the demo stage and we get a little further into some of these things. We're going to be able to change the paths. Luck is going to change. The randomization is going to change the story. So this is already quite interesting because the first time I played this, it played more like the actual game or the actual story where it was Tom and B'Elanna, where now it's Tom and Chakotay in this run. So it's kind of interesting to see the changes in the story already just between the two playthroughs. But just for context, before I did this, a couple days ago, I actually went back and watched this first episode to kind of make sure I was remembering things correctly and what have you. And the story is definitely shorter. The introduction of Neelix is a little bit different. There's a whole interaction with the Kazon and all that stuff. So how are we doing on the ship here? We're almost done, but not completely done. Back to here. And I'll tell you what, let's skip a cycle here. All right, we're going to build another emergency crew quarters. And let's go back to the system. Where are we at? We have about half the duranium. That deuterium. This is duranium. Okay, duranium. So let's go ahead and go up here and go grab this duranium here. We're basically waiting for the game to cycle until Neelix will tell us more. Okay, this room is now ready. We're getting a call now. So I'm going to go ahead and have these guys here empty this room. And let's answer the hail. It's from the caretaker. What a delicious meal. A culinary masterpiece. I've never encountered such a tangy but comforting, smooth yet vibrant concoction. What did you call it again? Tomato soup. Tomato soup. Something of a culinary wizard myself. You know, my Afarian hair pasta bowl is widely known for its bold, mouth-watering taste. Mr. Neelix, I'm pleased that you're enjoying yourself. Oops, hang on. Sorry. I'm pleased that you're enjoying yourself, but we need your assistance now. Ah, yes, your missing crew, right. Scan the southern continent and look for a range of dead volcanoes. At their foot, you will find the Kazan Ogla encampment. The Kazan what? One Kazan sect of many. They controlled this part of the quadrant. They're a bit difficult, but with the right approach, even they can be reasoned with. I thought you said the Okampa had our people. Well, the Okampa do have your people. It's just finding them is a bit tricky. My old pal Majaban and Ogla leader might know where to look. He's a nice guy, a bit gruff, but he owes me a favor. Let's ask more information about the Kazan Ogla. Anything else you could tell us about these Kazan Ogla? Water is a precious commodity around these parts. The Ogla, they mostly get theirs through trade, so a little liquid diplomacy would go a long way. All right, let's send our away team. Very well, prepare the away team. You'll accompany them, Mr. Neelix. Okay. Now we got to go back to Okampa. Emergency quarters are done. And now we're going to build another set of emergency quarters. As I said, we need to... Whoops. And we'll put them right here. So we got 10, 20, 30 of the crew emergency housed. We're going to need 2 more, so we'll build a couple more and get everybody in emergency housing as we continue to repair the ship. Let's go back to the system. And do we have the room? We do. So let's take the... And now let's go back to Okampa. Okay, emergency quarters are done. Let's build another set. So now we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That should do it. So instead of wasting any more materials, we'll go ahead and just have them clear out this room, and that way we can get to phaser control. Get that fixed. All right, go back to the system. Okay, Captain, we've reached our destination. So let's send the away team. Good night, Toasty. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Neelix. 'Neelix, 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 I say we're going to send Tuvok and Balana. Let's make this interesting. Mr. Logic and Mr. I can't control my emotions. How did Tom end up in this picture? Okay, the away team materializes in a small valley between dead volcanoes. The sun burns down on them mercilessly. The air is hot and dry, and sandy winds whip into their eyes. Captain, our tricorders are malfunctioning, probably because of the energy impulses. How do we get our bearings in this dust bowl? So none of them have the survivalist deal. This came up with Chakotay, as him being Native American. So I guess our only point here is to struggle through the vantage point. So let's hope Tuvok can get us through the sandstorm. All right, we were successful. The away team pushes forward, battling the strong winds and low visibility. Finally, they emerge onto the ledge with a clearer view of the surroundings. In the distance, they spot the Kazan Ogla settlement. However, the wind is picking up and a massive sandstorm is approaching from the south. Captain, the sandstorm is heading our way. We need to find cover fast. Okay, so this is where we can combine two people to do actions. Now, because Tuvok did the last action, he's actually fatigued, so we kind of want to use him sparingly to let him rest. So we can build a temporary shelter from whatever we can find, and we can get Neelix and we can get Alana involved in that, and we actually have a great chance of getting this successfully and a critical chance of getting it successfully. So we're going to try this. And so we were successful. The away team quickly gathers rocks, wood, constructing a makeshift shelter. They huddle together and the sandstorm rages around them. After what seems like an eternity, the storm subsides. The away team emerges, slightly battered but unharmed, and sets off in the direction of the Kazan Ogla settlement. Okay. Captain, we've reached the settlement. How should we approach the people here? So, like the pilot, we're going to let Neelix introduce us. He has... he has just as good a chance as anybody else. So let's let him do this, even though he's fatigued. And he was successful. Neelix bounds forward, greeting the Kazan Ogla with his usual boisterous manner. Women and children seem to recognize him, but their expressions are skeptical rather than welcoming. The men approach cautiously, weapons in hand. The tall Kazan emerges from the settlement. Jabin, their leader. At the sight of Neelix, his face darkens. In the background, a badly bruised young woman looks like nothing like the Kazan, but more like a human with pointed ears pierced around the corners. Seems like the Kazan don't find Neelix as charming as he led us to believe. How should we appease them? Okay, so now we can assure them that we have no bad intentions, we can demonstrate our strength, or we can offer them an exchange for water. So this is one where we can combine it. So we can put these two together. It's going to give us a much higher chance of success. So we'll take this route here. Okay, so we had a critical success. The away team offers Jabin water from their replicators. Fascinated by this technology, Jabin accepts the offer and becomes more receptive. He explains that the Ocampa live underground, their access controlled by the caretaker, who's also provided them with a source of water. As proof, Jabin points to the bruised Ocampa woman he is holding as a slave, explaining that she is one of the few who have managed to reach the surface. when suddenly Neelix grabs a phaser. He points it at Jabin and demands the Okampa free the girl. Or the girl to be free, excuse me. Okay. Things are getting out of hand, Captain. We should retreat. Okay, so now we have... all of these people are very fatigued. Probably our best bet is to do a tactical tree run, or we can do this, which, with these two being fatigued, it's probably our best bet. So we're going to try to do a secure the retreat with phaser fire. And we were successful. Cass is rescued. The away team lays down covering fire, focusing on the Kazon, forcing the Kazon to take cover. This allows them to minimize their exposure to enemy fire. Jabin, though furious, seems to acknowledge the away team's fighting skills. They escape with no casualties. And we level up our away team. More than gratitude. Safely back on Voyager, Neelix surprises the rest of the away team as he is rescued and women kissing passionately. How deep does this relationship between the two go? My dearest Cass, didn't I promise I'd save you? I knew you would come for me, my love. You lied and endangered my crew. This is not how trust is built, Mr. Neelix. He was desperate, Captain, but I understand. I want to repay you and your crew for saving me. As Jabin said, access to the underground city is controlled by the caretaker. There is a tunnel, but the caretaker sealed it with a security barrier. We may be able to transport through the security barrier if it had the slightest breach. A transporter signal amplified would be necessary. Excellent idea. Kess, can you help us once we've located the breach? Of course. It's the least I can do. I'm grateful now. Okay, so we can ask her questions or we have things to do. So if you're not familiar with watching the show or anything, you can go through this. This is going to give you details about the storyline between Kess and Neelix. We're going to go through and go to we have things to do. All right, someone get started on the transporter signal amplifier, and Kess will go to sickbay and have you examined. Computer, initiate emergency medical hologram. Introducing the doctor. With no other options available, Captain Janeway activates Voyager's emergency medical hologram. A shimmering figure materializes in sickbay, ready to provide critical care. Please state the nature of the medical emergency. Robert Picardo's favorite line in the first season. Doctor, our chief medical officer is dead. You have to take care of sickbay for now. And this patient, Kess. There's no need for concern. I'm capable of treating any injury or disease. A broken ulna, a few minor bruises, grazes, nothing I can't handle. You are in the most capable hands, young lady. Thank you, Doctor. It's very kind of you. I expect you to do your best, Doctor. Do my best, Captain. I'm programmed for only optimal medical care. What else would I do? Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have patients to attend to and a sick bay to reorganize. Okay, so our next deal up here on the caretaker deal is that we need to reactivate the science laboratory. This is going to give us the transporter signal amplifier. So at this point, we're going to go here to the science lab. And we don't have any work crews available at the moment because they're doing other things. So we're going to have to wait for these to get done, and then we can assign that. So we may have to skip some cycles to get to that point. Or we can go and gather more supplies. We're about half full of deuterium, so that might be a good idea. We still have a full deal of duranium. So let's take a look at the system, see if we're close to anything. And not really. But you know what? Those things are several cycles away from being done anyway. So whoops. Not going to hurt none to go that far. So we'll go back to the system. And we will set a course. Okay. So the debris has been removed. And we now have emergency quarters for the entire crew, all on deck 5. All the other decks are... Deck 2 is operational, deck 5 is operational, and we've got operations going in engineering, but that's about it. As you can see, the rest of the ship is in complete disarray. It reminds me, if you're a Star Trek Voyager fan, it will remind you of the Year of Hell. So let's put a crew on this and repair. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and repair the phaser control room. And those are 2 cycles away, so let's go back to the system. Okay, the deuterium is running low. You'll have 25 cycles to do this task. So we're going to get this right now, so this shouldn't be an issue. So now that we have the tractor beam going, we could take a risk. This will give us a guaranteed 400, or we could take a risk of 680. We've got 298, so we might want to take a risk here and try this. So let's see how this goes. And we didn't do as well as we could have. Okay, the crew is happy. We fulfilled our promise already. Like I said, we were already there. So now we have more I'm going to mess these up. Deuterium right here. Let's see what we got here. That's got science. So at this point, I'm thinking we just go here. We get the deuterium. I'm going to get this right. Deuterium. And then we'll go over here and get the science point. Okay. Science laboratory is back online. We can start researching the signal amplifier. Okay. Transporter signal amplifier. This takes 3 cycles. So got that running. Back to the system. So this one I'm going to take the more secure deal. Get that amount. So now we're getting close to our tanks are nearly full. And now we'll fly to this debris field here. And our transport signals have been completed. Okay, Captain, the blueprints for the signal are complete. However, to start production, we need to repair the workshop. Okay, so I do believe... Nope, this is all good. Phaser control is now back up. So let's get the workshop going. And because we know and love Star Trek, we should get the shields operational, and we should also get the torpedo base launchers ready to go. Because as soon as we get things going, you know we're going to run into trouble. So now here's the tech tree. So now we can start doing different things. We can start researching different levels of different stuff. So we have engineering items. We can do stuff for the crew. We have science stuff for combat. And then later on, as we get into Borg technology. So this actually moves over. And so like this would be a good one here for battery backup. But if we click on this, this will tell us that this will help us clear rooms 25% faster. So if we begin research on this. Now we're getting the workshop ready, and we are getting the shields up. Go back to the system here. And we can max out at, I guess there's in the thousands. So let's go ahead and scan and see what we get. Didn't do so good, but that's all right. We do get some points here. And that will help us with research. And because we now can do... Well, we still got to get the workshop going, but we'll head back to Ocampa here. Let's see, what do we got going on over here? We got more deuterium and uranium. Not anything really close by. More uranium. This is 5 cycles. Let's go ahead and head this way. Shield generators are back online. Okay, we got to be careful about our power and our energy. So we have 100 units of warp core energy available. We're using 79. And now we're going to go ahead and repair the torpedo bay so we can defend ourselves. This is 1 cycle away. All right, the workshop is now ready. Workshop is repaired, Captain. We can start production on the signal amplifiers. And so now we will get the signal amplifiers ready. Oops. Resume. Back to the system. Torpedo launcher is repaired. Now we're up to 88, so we're still within what we need to do. Mess hall is up and running. We have emergency accommodations. Sick bay is up. Not a whole lot more we can repair. Some of this stuff starts to take different things that we haven't found yet. Like the neural gel packs. This is something we'll have to figure out. We only have 5 of those. We're going to have to figure out how to make more of those. And we need 35 of this titanium, which we have not found yet. So then we can start getting other things going here. And let's see here. Okay, so optional, explore the tech tree, and so now we're waiting on the workshop to finish with this. So we have 1 cycle remaining. So we're going to go ahead and skip a cycle so we can get that finished. And so now the amplifiers are ready. Signal amplifiers have been completed and we're ready for use. Captain, it would be wise if we hasten back to Ocampa, which we are in orbit now. We go back to the system. We've reached our destination. Orders. Let's send our away team. So Kess is going with us, and now we get to pick whoever else we want to go. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to send Tuvok and Balana. And start. Upon materializing near the tunnel entrance, a group of Kazon already there tinkering with the security barrier in frustration. As soon as they notice the away team, they flinch in fear and back off a bit. Watch out, shouts one of them. The foreign warriors are back. Captain, the Kazon seem to be hesitant, almost fearful. What are your orders? We can bluff and open fire if they don't retreat. Count to 3. Ignore the Kazon and proceed directly into the tunnel. So probably this is our best bet. This is almost 50-50. This isn't going to do us any good here. So we're going to hope that Tuvok can get us in. And failure. The away team's bold move takes the Kazon by surprise. A few confused Kazon fire warning shots, but quickly cease fire when the away team shows no reaction. The Kazon make no further attempts to interfere with the away team as they enter the tunnel. Captain, we reached the tunnel entrance. Using the transport signal amplifiers, now find a possible breach in the security barriers. So now we can do a deal where we can use all the characters to make this action work better. So we use the amplifiers to locate a breach in the barrier. So Tuvok is fatigued, so we want to skip him if we can. If we add all these, we have critical chance of success, but we don't need that even with him. So we'll let him rest on this one, and we'll let these two take it on. And we had a critical success. And the away team deploys the transporter signal amplifiers, carefully scanning the barrier for any vulnerabilities. After a tense few minutes, they locate a small breach in the energy field. They successfully transport themselves through the opening and into the tunnel beyond the barrier. The tunnel opens into a breathtaking sight. Embedded into a large cavern, a futuristic environment with smooth white walls emerges in front of the away team, glowing in a warm white light littered with patches of green, the Ocampa City. Captain, we're inside the Ocampa City, but it's a maze of streets and chambers. How should we proceed? So we could let Kess lead the search, or we can have Tuvok do that. So this gives us about a 75% chance. And Tuvok's is not better. So let's let Kess do this even though she's fatigued. And we were successful. Kess approaches a group of Ocampa, respectfully asking for assistance for locating the missing Tom and Chakotay. The Ocampa, touched by her concern, eagerly provide directions to the medical facility. The away team eventually finds their crew members awakened but disoriented. Surrounded by strange medical equipment, Chakotay instinctively reaches for a weapon, but before any confrontation can occur, the ground starts to shake violently. A message from Captain Janeway cuts through the joyous reunion. The caretaker array has apparently repositioned itself and is now firing at the tunnel entrance. Okay, so everyone that's joined us here late, I noticed that the group is getting a little bigger. The premise of the game here is to allow you to change the story. So if you're a Star Trek Voyager fan and you do remember the pilot, you know that B'Elanna Torres and Harry Kim were the ones that were actually sent to the Ocampa homeworld. And this, due to one of the actions that I chose and we failed on, now the story has changed, which is what's unique about this game. So now Tom and Chakotay are on the homeworld. So it follows the pilot fairly closely, but it's changing things just a little bit in the storyline. So what I found unique about this is that I think as this demo goes into full game, you're going to be able to tweak some of the things that go along the way. How much you'll be able to tweak them will be interesting. Okay, we need to get out of here. So Tuvok is our only answer. Let's see which is his best option here. Okay, so he is going to clear a path of debris and obstacles. So this should be a success. We could get a critical. We are successful. The away team clears a path through the collapsing tunnels, using their phasers to blast away debris and create a safe passage. They dodge falling rocks, collapsing ceilings, ensuring everyone escapes safely. As soon as they reach the exit, the security barrier, the only thing standing between them and their escape. Tremors are interfering with the signal amplifier's focus, Captain. The connection is constantly being interrupted. We can't beam out like this. Okay, so now this is our next deal here. We stabilize the transporter signal amplifier and add its frequency. We can have B'Elanna do that, which would give us critical success. Or analyze the tremor frequency and recalibrate the transporters. And that would require these two. Looks like we'll have a better success of just letting B'Elanna do this. And she gave us a critical success. Working quickly, the away team adjusts the transporter signal, amplifier frequencies, and modulation, compensating for the tremors. The transport signal stabilizes, allowing the away team to lock on and lock onto the beam and materialize back on board. And that completes our mission. Unexpected allies. Back on Voyager, Tom Paris breathes a sigh of relief while Chakotay eyes his Starfleet rescuers with suspicion. The Maquis I'm going to butcher this. My apologies. The Maquis commander struggles to understand the sudden alliance. Needless to say, I've been streaming for an hour and a half and reading all of this, so you'll forgive me. Get a drink here in our throat here. Captain Chakotay, welcome aboard Voyager. I am Captain Catherine Janeway. Mr. Paris, it's good to have you back. Have my pilot back. What? No champagne? Not even the replicated? I'm Commander Chakotay of the Maquis. Taurus, what are you doing here? Or what's going on here? Long story, Chakotay. Short version, we're stuck with Federation... I don't know how to pronounce that word. Sophisticates? In the Delta Quadrant. And we share a common goal, getting back home. Anything you learned on the planet could help us. So we have optional deals that will fill in more of the story, but the mainline question is ask if they know why they were sent to the Ocampa. The caretaker mentioned that you might have what it needs. Can you make any sense of that? We woke up covered in scabs. The Ocampa said that they had sent away to prevent some kind of plague. Except we weren't sick before. He also mentioned others with the same disease, but they didn't last. They died? I want you both in sickbay now. Captain, their condition is unusual. It appears that they've been It appears to be a cellular disruption caused by the introduction of foreign genetic material. Their bodies are rejecting it, rather violently, I might add. They're fortunate. A few more days and their cellular disruption would have been fatal. Foreign genetic material? For what purpose? An excellent question, Commander. It appears that we've been introduced deliberately. It's been introduced deliberately. Though why anyone would want to inject you with incompatible DNA is beyond my comprehension. Prognosis, Doctor? We've already started the treatment. With my expertise, they should make a full recovery. Captain, there's now enough evidence to form a reasonable hypothesis. The caretaker provides the Ocampa, yet remains on his array. It is logical to assume that the provisions arrive through the energy pulses. They have increased in frequency since our arrival. Now he destroyed the access tunnels. In addition, he frequently mentions running out of time. The caretaker has sustained the Ocampa for millennia. Why this sudden urgency? It is illogical. My conclusion is that it does not intend to continue this role as caretaker. The doctor's discovery further confirms my hypothesis. The caretaker is enacting measures to safeguard the Ocampa for as long as possible. However, they will run out of energy eventually, so he is seeking a successor, someone who holds the key to their survival, a compatibility with the caretaker's DNA. This explains the abduction and the subsequent testing of individuals for various sectors. I believe that the caretaker is dying. If he's dying, how the hell are we supposed to get home? We have to return to the array before it's too late. Captain, given the caretaker's reluctance to cooperate, a more assertive approach may be necessary. The Vulcan's right. If that overgrown energy blob won't send us home, we'll blast our way out with phasers, torpedoes, the whole shebang. I believe a bit of a tactical plan is in order. Shields first, then phasers. Our offensive and defensive capabilities have been restored, Captain. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Let's show this quadrant what we're made of. Okay, so in earlier deals, I was repairing on the ship the shield generators and the phaser arrays and the phaser control room and the torpedoes. Where was the torpedo room at? Torpedo launchers. So we're already ready to go. And so for anybody that's kind of come in late, this is the side view of the ship. It looks very reminiscent. They did a nice job of making it look kind of like the show with the ship displays and that. And the systems that are lit up, these are the areas of the ship that are repaired. The other ship's parts are dark. These are ruined parts of the ship that we need to repair, along with life support on all these decks. So we're maybe 10%. And the really neat thing I like about all this is that it's kind of got a 3D feel to it. It's not static. So when you're looking like here at the bridge, you move up and down, changes position nicely. All right, let's go back to the sector here, and we're going to go back to the array. All right, how's our deuterium? Not bad. Okay, now on our tech tree, we've gotten the plasma torch done. And we'll start with hull reinforcement. Back to the system. Captain, we've reached our destination. Continue. Seems we were expected, Captain. The Kazon, the lead ship, is hailing us. Probably not calling to chat. I'll have our Marquis Raider manned. You'll have support if this turns into a fight, Captain. Excellent idea. But let's see what the Kazon have to say first. Jabin, why are you here? Do you truly believe you can defeat us? All we care about is getting home, Jabin. We will beam over to the array and see if we can arrange that. That's all? After your display of firepower? We do not fear you, but we are not fools. We have no dispute with you. Then leave. The array is ours. This is absurd. We have no intentions of challenging you. The array is mine. Leave or face my wrath. Jabin, we can discuss this like two civilized. He's disconnected, Captain. They're powering up their weapons. Battle stations. So each combat encounter, you may choose up to 3 heroes to utilize specialized strengths and stuff. So you can assign different people to different areas within the ship to give yourself bonuses and what have you. So it is USS Voyager and the Marquis Raider versus the Kazon. So we can select a hero, which I'm going to pick Chakotay and Tuvok. And start the combat. Voyager will fight semi-autonomously. The phasers fire automatically, torpedoes manually. You control the ship, the command view, and decide to approach. Okay, so now we have to give orders. The combat is paused. There's the captain's orders. So here's where we give commands. So we can do offensive actions, defensive actions, or initiate repairs. So offensive actions. And let's take down Kazon's weapons. And we hit the space bar and we start our attack. The hero abilities. In battle, the hero's abilities can be activated by either selecting them with the mouse or pressing the number keys. Blue countdown indicates that their ability is active, while white, the countdown shows the cooldown time until the ability is ready again. For more detailed information about the effect of the abilities, hover over the respective images. So this is down here at the bottom. So we'll get Chakotay involved. All right. Open the command view. Hit the E key. So their weapons are almost offline. One more attack. Hello, Humble. Welcome in. I don't know what I did wrong here. Combat is paused. Complete the tutorial step. Defensive actions. Send starboard. Okay. Okay. So the hull status is 96, and we won the combat. That went better than expected. Our raider is still in good shape. Keep it close by, just in case the Kazon decide to show up. Jabin, you are strong, Cap, but there is strength in numbers. I have called for reinforcement. This array will be mine. And I guess we don't have much time. Hail the array. Well, aren't you persistent? We need you to send us back where we came from. Impossible. I've barely enough strength to complete my work. I must protect the Okampa. If I don't, the Kazon will steal their water. They won't be able to survive. You've dragged us into this. You need to send us. Captain, Jabin wasn't bluffing. His reinforcements have arrived. I could try and access the array system to transport us to the Alpha Quadrant, Captain. No, I'm fading. Time is up. If you leave, the array will be left to the Kazon. They will annihilate the Okampa. You must destroy it. Don't listen to him. We'll be stranded. Please, protect the Okampa. What right and what is easy? What is right? What is easy? The caretaker fades away, collapsing into an inert crystalline form. Janeway is now faced with an impossible choice. Return home to the Alpha Quadrant, leaving the Okampa defenseless, or sacrifice Voyager's return to ensure their safety. The clock is ticking. He's gone. Captain, the Kazon are closing in. Shall we access the primary controls to send us back? Okay. We can try to go home, or we can try and. So in the story of the in the first episode of this series, Janeway decides to destroy the array. So let's do something different here. Let's take this story in a different direction. Let's see what happens here. So we're going to try to work our way home. This isn't our fight. Protecting a comp would violate the Prime Directive. My responsibility is to this crew. Access the controls. We're going home. So technically, right. You're abandoning the Ocampa. The hell with the Prime Directive. They deserve a chance to live. Okay. You can reconsider and destroy the array, or we can follow through. So I'm going to continue with the follow through just to kind of change the storyline here from the real show. We have a 60% chance of success. It's my ship, Commander. Tuvok, now. Attempting to access the primary control system. The systems are unresponsive. I cannot initiate the transit program. Captain, the Kazon are preparing to board the array. You must destroy the array. Protect my people from the Kazon. It seems fate has made our choice for us. Tuvok, ready the tri-cobalt devices. Target the array. What are you doing? The array's our only way out of here. You can't. I can, and I will. Tri-cobalt devices ready, Captain. And firing. Fire. We'll find another way. I promise. Who do you think you are, making these decisions for all of us? It was the right decision, B'Elanna. The Ocampa. They remind me of our people. We were fighting a more powerful enemy to protect our own. The Ocampa deserve that too. 70,000 light years. We're really stranded, aren't we? Great. Now they'll definitely miss my next meeting review. A missed behavioral review should not be your primary concern at all, at the moment, Mr. Paris. Thank you, Tuvok. I hadn't thought about it that. Jabin is hailing us, Captain. You have made an enemy today. Mr. Paris, put some distance between us and this place. So this tells us how to fix the hull. So now we go to the sector. Get the ship back to power. We ran out of power. Okay. Fly to the marked destination in the field. So, okay, we need to work our way over here to this asteroid deal. So let's go around the horn here. And let's get some more supplies. Okay, and now we will head where the map needs us to go. Alright. 70,000 light years from home. It seems we're in this together, Commander. Your decision didn't win you any friends. The Kazon, the Marquis, Starfleet, but I respect you for it. Their anger is justified, but we have more pressing concerns. 2 crews on 1 ship, stranded in the Delta Quadrant, fighting for survival. I know a thing or two about survival. The Maquis are a motley crew. We had to learn to put our differences aside and work together to coexist. Coexist. Well, Commander, I'd like to offer you a position as Voyager's first officer. First officer? You're willing to trust the Maquis with that responsibility? I'm learning to adapt. This is a new beginning, a chance to forge a new path together. Neelix and Kess, you wanted to see me? Do you need anything else before you leave? Supplies, water, medicines? Well, that's what we wanted to discuss. We'd like to go with you. Before you say anything, Captain, we both much appreciated being part of this journey. Can offer you so much in the sector. Captain, you need a guide, supplies, contacts, and a cook. Oh, and I haven't lived until you tasted my Angeline Balisque. But more than that, Captain, I can be your morale officer. Keep those smiles bright on the long voyage home. I have a feeling you'll need that. A guide, a cook, and a morale officer? That's quite an offer, Mr. Neelix. And Cass, what about you? What do you hope to gain from this journey? I want to see the galaxy. There's so much out there that I don't know, so much to explore and discover. I haven't mentioned it before, but the Okampa once possessed telepathic powers. Generations of dependence on the caretaker have diminished them. Perhaps this journey could help me understand these abilities, learn more, develop them. But I also want to help. After the doctor cured my wounds, I realized that I want to help people too. Maybe I could learn from him, assist him in sickbay. I think the doctor would be glad to have you. Very well, then. Welcome aboard. Captain, you might want to see this. It looks like we've stirred up a little trouble. In a good way, I think. A sudden distress call reveals Voyager's victory over Jabin sparked mass exodus from the Kazon slave camp. Janeway wastes no time in ordering the desperate survivors be beamed aboard. Elex is surprised to find another Talaxian, Zabin, who was captured while exploring the Okampa landscape. Gratefully joins the growing crowd of survivors seeking the doctor's care. We've gotten 13 more crew. All right, everyone, listen up. Oh, we get to deliver a big speech. Yay, crowd. Build up morale here. Let's see here. Unite and explore, the unknown, learn, overcome differences, unite as one. Stand strong. Okay, let's do this. We're alone in an uncharted part of the galaxy, facing unknown dangers. We must work together to survive. Commander Chakotay and I have agreed to unite the crews as one Starfleet crew. As the only Starfleet vessel in the Delta Quadrant, we'll continue to explore, where our primary goal is to find our way back to the Federation. 75 years is unacceptable. We'll seek out shortcuts, new technologies. We'll forge alliances and confront those who stand in our path. We will adapt. We will prevail. We will not rest until we reach home. Well spoken, Captain. Mr. Paris, you've proven yourself a skilled pilot and a valuable member of the crew. I hereby appoint you as our flight control officer. For the first time in my life, I don't know what to say. Perhaps a state that you would prefer to embrace more frequently from now on, Lieutenant Paris. Lieutenant Paris, that has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Hey, Harry, I bet you get your own promotion just around the corner, which I think is a poking at fun because Harry never got a promotion from ensign. So that's a nice little poke at the series. Oh boy, imagine me becoming captain one day. Very well, gentlemen. As a first official act in your new position, Lieutenant Paris, set a new course. We're flying home. And that ends the demo. So it's kind of a neat little deal. I look forward to the whole thing coming out. I hope they get some people to read through this. I am absolutely out of breath from reading all of that. It's a lot of dialogue to read it. It was kind of time consuming. So I'm hoping they get some people to read at least some of the story. It would be amazing if they could get the original cast to do the actual voiceovers on it. I know it would be super expensive for them to do, especially because this is just one part of that. So um, I think this is a pretty small group that's putting this together. So the likelihood of that it might be a little different, but it's a very cute little game. I like it because it's not super involved. It's something you can kind of walk away from, kind of play it very casually. I really like the XCOM base slash Fallout Shelter kind of feel to the way the ship is segmented and you're doing repairs of the ship and what have you. Still need to work on the combat thing. That's a little different, but um, I like the way the story goes. It follows the storyline pretty good, but it was neat that I was able to change things a little bit along the way. I think it'll be interesting as you get a little further along with some of the other stuff. I know there's the thing with the Imperium and the time incursions, and then we have the whole thing with the Borg. So there could be a whole lot more stuff there, but um, at that point, I think I'm going to go ahead and call this the end of the stream. For all of you that joined us and everything, this has been it's a very interesting little game. If you're a big Star Trek fan like myself, I think you'll find it enjoyable. It's a demo that's available on Steam, so you could try it out for yourself. It's a cute little game. I found it to be quite enjoyable. A little bit much on the reading, but it was fun to play nonetheless. Um, I look forward to the whole game coming out. If they don't change the reading thing, I don't know that I would stream the whole game. I think I would probably lose my voice. Way too much to read. But at any rate, I'm going to go back to the main menu and you can keep exploring at that point. And you basically can go in that area, but you're kind of stuck to that sector and you get a little bit limited on what you can repair because you need more and more stuff to get the ship and stuff repaired. But nevertheless, I would say if you're a Star Trek fan, go get it, give it a try. I like how it's very relaxed and story related, and it's like I said, it's something you can just kind of get up and walk away from. But I really enjoyed my first playthrough. This was different because I got the different directions and different things, but I look forward to it coming out. Anyway, everybody who's popped in, thank you very much for stopping in. Those of you guys that chatted with me, I appreciate that very much. And with that, we are going to call this the end of the show. Thank you very much.